What's going on, boys and girls? Good to be back, and I thought I'd catch up with you guys because it's been a while since after the Hibernian game. Hibernian. Oh Lord, I remember reading some of the comments in the chat from you guys saying, Apollo, our unbeaten season is already over in the first game. You guys give me pure jokes. But listen, I'm going to continue to do the preseason games. There has been a little bit of a mix-up in the structure of the preseason games. Now, I, for one, did the stream with you guys, and I did say that I thought that it was going to be for membership holders, not season ticket holders. There's a difference. Season ticket holders are those who purchase a ticket to go and watch the games, whether that be gold or platinum. And this is about membership levels. So memberships is red ticket holders and silver ticket holders who are obliged to go on the website and buy tickets. So that's really membership. Although there are only 44,000 season ticket holders, there are over 180,000 memberships on the Arsenal website. So all those people have access to watch the games. I didn't get the email because, silly me, I forgot to update my email address. So I apologize for that. Big shout out to Leo Daniel. Leo Daniel's the guy in 101 forums who pointed out to me that they actually did send an email. On those emails have codes. You were supposed to submit those codes before the 13th of July. And that's what will give you access to all the games. So first of all, I apologize to Arsenal Football Club. I apologize to you, Catherine and Caroline, because I had a go at you saying that membership guys have to pay for the membership and then pay on top for the games, and that's not exactly the case. So it's really for all of you guys who live worldwide and you don't live in the UK and you don't have a membership which gives you tickets to go to the game. The season ticket price is only to get you access to see the games. Whereas before, previously, you had no access to see it at all. On to the Hibs game. It was a game that Arsenal should not have lost. Nketiah should have went round the goalkeeper. Thomas Partey and a few other guys hit the post. But let's just talk about the positives, shall we? Because our goalkeeper, the young 18-year-old, he had a torrid time. But I'm really happy to hear Arteta say this is what happens at this level. He was solid in the under-21s, and now we're bringing you up to this level. You have to acclimate yourself to the level of expectations that is surrounding Arsenal. And to be honest with you, you should have done this with the kid last year instead of bringing in Runarsson. That would have always... How are you going to bring in a 26-year-old with no experience like that, and then it just doesn't... And then you're paying 40 grand a week. That should have never happened anyway. Let's just hope it doesn't happen. And he wasn't anywhere near to be seen in Hibernian and Scotland. So good luck to Alex Runarsson. But so with this kid, guys, I think you start him against Rangers. Yeah. I'm not going to be into all of that bashing because I think it's very negative on the kid. And I don't want us to destroy his career. I'm talking to you fans. So I believe that we should support the guy. And I think that Mikel Arteta is doing the right thing. I think that you need to play him at least in the first half. And let's get behind the kid and let's big him up and let's give him the confidence from the fan base that he needs in order to help his career forward. Let's not slander him and destroy his career before it's even started. That is the wrong thing to do. This is preseason, guys. That's what preseason is for. It's for us to take a look at players, for us to get the academy players of 4 or 5 of them who've been brought up into the first team, get them up and then get them hitting the ground running and then get them used to what it's been all about, practicing with these players, going away with the team, doing all the prep game and the game planning and getting the performance right. Let's let them understand the level of expectations. So let's shout out everybody who done well in the game. First of all, Maitland-Niles in the central midfield row next to El Nene. I like what I see, and if that's the level of expectations we're expecting next to Thomas Partey, I welcome it. And whether he stays or goes doesn't really make a difference. I know me, Tony, and Bertram had a big conversation about this person's going, what's the point, this person's that. It doesn't really matter. Preseason is a chance for you to show the boss that you belong in the team. We've seen the likes of Smith Rowe and Nketiah have fantastic preseasons, and for those reasons, it's brought them, and Saka, and it's for those reasons it's brought them into the first team, deservedly so. It hasn't worked out for other players, but we're still waiting for the likes of Reece Nelson to come alive. Hopefully that will happen this year. But to go along with him, I thought Reece Nelson had a really good, positive game. And that's what you expect from him. You see him play. You see him go past players. You see him deliver a ball into the box. You see him get into the box. And you see him, he ain't afraid to take a shot on goal outside the box either. And most of Reece Nelson's shots are on target. So it's really nice to see that he's still the same player that we all thought he was. Those are the fans who understand the player. So, look, let's see if he can get the chance that he deserves this season. And I pray for the guy. And I hope that he makes the right decisions, because it's up to these guys whether they go on loan or whether they stay with the club. And we've seen it where it's worked well for players, and we've seen it where it's not worked well for players. So in saying that, I don't know what's going to happen to the likes of Joe Willock. The fact that he wasn't there is concerning. The fact that Newcastle are looking at making a bid for him is concerning, because it's all down to the player. If the player turns around and says to Arteta, well, look, man, you know, I know you're telling me you want me to be a part of this, but to be honest with you, I see my future outside of the club. And whether Joe Willock or Nketiah or Maitland-Niles has said that to Arteta, the truth is we don't know. And I don't know their agents either. So we can only work with what we've got. And Joe Willock wasn't there. A little concerning. So you have to take the rough with the smooth and hope that these players can continue to deliver and prove to the boss that they deserve to be here. In the second half, for me, it was Pepe, Smith Rowe, some really, really quality play by Lacazette as well. His hold-up play was phenomenal. I mean, when you look at what Aubameyang did in the preseason, I mean, he was oblivious. He was hardly there, barely touched the ball. And the way Lacazette was holding up the play, receiving the ball in the midfield, turning, beating 2 or 3 players one time, I was like, whoa, that's the man right there. But I do agree, the question was posed to me and Tony and Bertram, and I do still agree that we should go the old Arsene Wenger way, and that we should only offer a 1-year contract extension to Lacazette. And I think that that's how it should be for all of our players. Look, say what you want about Aubameyang, I get it. I know everyone was happy when he signed, and everyone was dancing around, and congratulations, the king is back. But we've learned from Ozil and we've learned from Aubameyang that it is not all rosy and green grasses on the other side. And fans should accept that Arsene Wenger was right. Fans should accept that at that age, your players are not on an uphill trend. They will be on a downhill trend. And in some players, we've seen that abundantly clear. Willian and overweight Ting on the pitch. And I said, I look better in an Arsenal shirt than he does. So that's really concerning. Anyway, let's move on. So you guys are hearing about Lokonga. Lokonga, everything was dealt in a principle, and he's actually in COVID quarantine at the moment. So I believe Thursday is today, and that's when he's supposed to be having his photo session. Probably either today or tomorrow anyway. But they'll be announcing him over the next few days. I don't think he's going to make the Rangers game. I definitely think that Tavares will play in the Rangers game. And as I also said with the Ben White situation about a week ago, that has all been agreed between 3 parties. I think at the moment we're looking at things like contracts and paperwork that are being discussed. But from my side, I don't believe there's anything holding up the deal. The players already made it clear. The club, Brighton, has already made it known what they are what they're expecting to be paid for the player, and Arsenal have said yes, so that's what we're going to commit to. And really that is done just to warn everybody else away from the deal and not have an issue like where Everton tried to step in lastminute.com business and then try and teeth the player. Yeah, I think that all of this principle stuff was done to just ward off any players. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that will prevail and everything goes smoothly with those final negotiations, and that he will be presented as an Arsenal player in the next week or so. Updates on Martin Odegaard. Now, I reported a week before everybody else did that he will not be coming back to Arsenal. What's happened now today is there are some changes to that in regards to him possibly being coming back to Arsenal. Now, nothing is set in stone. In order for Real Madrid to afford Mbappe, they're going to offload at least 3 or 4 of their top players, including Odegaard. If they're willing to do that, then they will become available then. Nobody said, or has promised that Arsenal would be in the picture. But because he's played with us for a season, we will have to wait to see what the player says. And if he is interested in a move to Arsenal, then I'm sure that that's something that they will look at. Remember, he was our top target going into this year. So let's just wait and see what happens with that. And if anything changes, I'll bring you up to speed as soon as I can. Hector Bellerin. Now, Arsenal are reportedly still in talks with Inter Milan. This because they are absolutely desperate to sign Hector Bellerin. And he's already told the Gunners of his intentions to join Inter Milan. So I think where it is right now, we have to figure out how that's going to work out, because right now Inter Milan, not just Inter Milan, but quite a lot of clubs, including Marseille, are talking about loan deals for players at the end of them. And I don't think that's very good, because you've got players in Saliba, Guendouzi, Torreira, and Hector Bellerin. We're not going to talk about the Xhaka situation because there's no loan involved there. That was just a straight buy. But we've got so many situations where clubs are now talking about, let's loan the player first and then we'll talk about the money afterwards. And what you're doing is quite frankly underhanding Arsenal to just get a freebie. And that isn't going to work. And the only way how something like that could work for me is that there is a loan fee, first of all, like there is with William Saliba, that there's a fee in place, so you have to pay if you want this player on loan. Secondary, that there is a guarantee that you're going to buy the player after the loan. Because the only reason why this money is not front loaded is because teams are struggling with money. It's been widely apparent to everybody that COVID has killed the finances, and there are teams out there that are struggling to survive. So I get it, but in terms of assurances, what you don't want if you're Arsenal is you have sent out the likes of Saliba and Guendouzi out to loan, and then next summer, guess what? The team says, nah, it's all right, we don't want them. And these players fall into the last year or 2 years running of their deals, which devalues the player for Arsenal. Like, Arsenal will be getting less money for those players. It also means the player itself will be devalued, because if you're going to go somewhere and you're not going to play a lot and you're not going to shine, then your value is going to decrease as well. I mean, look at what happened to Torreira. Torreira last summer was 25 million. This summer, what are you going to get? What are you going to get for him? 15, 20 million? If you get 20 million for Torreira, you've done well. But my point is that the likes of Maitland-Niles, Torreira, and all these guys and Guendouzi have been devalued year on year. So it's not like their value's going up, because they're not really doing that much. And the scale of what they're doing isn't big anyway. So yes, I agree, Guendouzi played for the whole season, but who did he play with? Yeah, and what level did he aspire to? So you're only going to see a devalue in those players, and that doesn't suit Arsenal's pocket well at all. So something in that respect has to be done, and the state of play on that, in my opinion, isn't good. And at some point, you got to take a stand. You got to say to yourself, well, is Guendouzi, is Saliba, or is Torreira that bad that they can't stay at Arsenal? Are you telling me that the bridges are burnt and the situation is that bad that those players' days at Arsenal are done, to the point where we are willing to lose millions and millions of pounds? Seriously, because if you add up all the money that you've lost with all of those players, you easily get into the 30, 40, 50 million. That's how much equity we've lost in those players. Just those players. So it's really concerning to me that we're just a leaky bucket of finances right now. Not enough coming in, and a leaky bucket dropping out on the bottom end, and it's left us with next to nothing to work with. It's a real shame of what's going on. And look, I'm not putting everything on this front office. I keep telling you guys, they've only been here for 18 months. So stop. We're not going to keep hammering them about what's going on at Arsenal now. It is not entirely all their fault. A lot of what they're doing is because of the old regime. And quite frankly, Edu and Vinay have been putting out fires ever since they were put in charge. They've been putting out fires. So it's hard to build the foundation when you're still repairing the patches previously. I will hopefully see you guys on Saturday, where we have the Rangers game, so I'll be doing full coverage for that, and then we can hopefully go away with a win and a better performance. And look, as I said, I really do like the performance of some players against Hibernian. They look sharp, they look ready, but that's what preseason's for. It's for making sure your nutrition worked over the summer, not including you Willian showed us that there was no nutrition at all. The only nutrition he was having was KFC. So it also shows you that the fitness levels some players had. I mean, Smith Rowe looked really good when he came on. The sharp, got into the box, done everything we want, and there was a discussion with us whether he's an 8 or a 10. He's a 10, even though the system doesn't facilitate a 10, but that's where he is at the moment. Those positions in the midfield, as far as an 8 goes, he ain't doing that. We brought in Odegaard to be an 8. We Willock as an 8, and we're looking for potentially an Owar who's an 8. So regardless what you guys think about Smith Rowe, he ain't an 8. Yeah, he probably used to be, because I've compared him to Aaron Ramsey for all those years, but the team are looking to play him further up the pitch. What we have to take from this is that let's see how the preseason develops. A lot of games left to play, guys. Yeah, it's a good amount of games to play in preseason, and as preseason goes on, we will see how we develop those players. I do want to say, though, a last big shout out to Saka. I shot a video on Saka because I thought it was important for me to address it. But it was so heartbreaking, you know, it was so tearful that I just thought that we just need to kind of let things settle down a little bit. And the statements that Edu and Arteta have made, I think that we can step back and we can trust in the process of what they're doing with Saka. They understand the situation with him. They are going to take him back. Forget about England, guys. Forget about England. Saka is an Arsenal player. He is one of us. It's down to us to ensure that he's treated well and he's respected and he's applauded for every game he comes out with the home fans. Expect that the crowd gives him a standing ovation for his performances in the summer, and let's treat him like one of our own and let's big him up. Let's lift him. Let's lift the player as high as we can. It's our job. Don't matter whether Spurs fans come into the stadium and boo him, and don't matter whether anybody boos him. It is our responsibility to look after one of our own. So that's the reason why I'm not too fussed about doing a whole video on Saka. I think that what's happening with him at the moment is the right thing. I don't expect to see him anytime soon. I think they should give him an extended holiday in order for him to just forget about everything. It may mean that he'll miss the first game of the season. So what? And the first game is against Brentford as well. So our season, it's going to be a tough game, don't get me wrong. But it's the second and third games and fourth and fifth games. That's when things start to get really hairy. So if Saka plays in the first game, great, fantastic, wonderful. If he doesn't, I wouldn't bemoan it. Yeah? And that's all from me, guys. Really good to see that you guys are healthy in the chat room. Subscribers are flying through the roof at the moment. The channel's really growing fast, and that's all down to you guys. Big respect to you. And I'll see you guys on Saturday for preseason. Peace, and I'm out of here. Nice one, guys.